Hello everybody. Welcome to this session of classical Indian theatre. Well, this is actually a little account of myself, which I've gone through the performing art life for past 77 years. Yes, I repeat, for 77 years I have been involved in performing art. But this is not all that easy. Ye ishq nahi aasan, but itna samajh lijiye, ye ishq nahi aasan, itna samajh lijiye, आग का दरिया है और डूब के जो आना है, ये इश्क नहीं आसान. This is a शेर by Jigar Muradabadi, who was the first to start the trend of Jadeed Shairi. Jadeed Shairi means contemporary expression in Urdu Shairi. And this was first sung by my teacher, Begum Akhtar. She has the credit of introducing Jigar Muradabadi at that time when everybody sang only classical singers. Well, today, as my very, very favorite, lovely student, Dolly Aluwalia, has requested that I should talk about Rasaswadan. Let me tell you, there's no need for you to get worried about Rasaswadan, because it has become a trend and a great fashion of talking rasa. Rasa has nothing to do with a performer. It is accidental, incidental. Let me tell you that. So most of the people talking big about rasa, they don't even understand. Very many well-known people also say, now we are performing the Navarasas. You cannot perform, because this is between two parties. Like very few people can say, what do you mean by, what are the other theatre? What is theatre? Theatre where two different parties come to a conclusion. They discuss, or they fight, or they talk. Like, that's why you have a war theatre, where the two parties fight. Or there may be an operation theatre, where there's a patient and a surgeon. And the third one is theatre that we are talking about. The other party is the Rasika, who ought to enjoy the ras. And what does ras mean? It has something to do with your palate. Palate means आपको स्वाद से क्या लेना देना. अच्छा, लेट मी बोल. देखिए, मैं इलिटरेट हूँ, मुझे कोई भी जुबान ठीक तरह से आती नहीं. या तो मैं कुछ बोल देती हूँ और कुछ बोल देती हूँ. क्या बोल रही हूँ वो सुन लीजिए. और ये ज़रूरी नहीं कि आप एग्री करें. नहीं नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. क्योंकि आप देख लेंगे क्लासिकल आर्ट में जो लोग भी गाते हैं आजकल, वो अलग है. लेकिन एंटायर क्रिएटिव आर्ट वर्ल्ड comes under the one canopy called embraces everything. Very recently, for a couple of 1,000 years ago, there were no different genre called this is dance, and it is slowly it has gone into narrow specialization. That's why today, earlier when we were young, we went to a physician, they gave some kind of mixture, horrible, and we got cured. Now if you have tooth pain, you go to a dentist. If you have eye, then you go to the ear nose specialist. If you have broken your... अब क्या है, देखिए, अभी चला गया ना, आप देख नहीं पाए. यही होता है बहुत मॉडर्न हो जाने के बाद. अब ये एक ऐसी वस्तु है जिसको मैं छूती भी नहीं हूँ. कोई और मदद किया तो मैं मोबाइल चला रही हूँ. अरे बचपन में मैंने कभी रेडियोग्राम नहीं चला, कोई और चला देता मैं सुनती थी गाना. अब बात ये है, ये परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट वर्ल्ड में मैं जब 2.5 साल की थी tab I came into the performing art world accident. Mrs. Tagore, the daughter-in-law of Tagore, was invited in Lucknow to do a program for some kind of fundraising. I don't know what it was. And all my costumes of my sisters were taking part in that. And I was 6, 7 years younger than any of those people. So I was a baby, 2.5 years old. Nobody took me seriously. And I was quite upset because of that. And some chitras were there, so I made a big scene. So Mummy made me some little frock and something like that. And I was extremely naughty. Obviously, that is why. And my mother was doing fairly a major role in Natya Puja. And we all went there. And I am the 4th accidental child in my family. So anyhow, I was a problem, all right. So I was taken there, and my charge was given to a person who later on became the chief engineer of Uttar Pradesh. Keshto, please hold this girl's house and don't you ever leave. छोड़ दोगे तो कहर मचा देगी. तो उस जमाने में तो ऑटोमेटिक स्क्रीन होता नहीं था. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, जब वो पहला आइटम था टैगोर की वर्षा मंगल. All my sisters and all of them, incidentally in that also Sonali Sengupta, the Rosalini and Sonalini, she was also participating in that. All of them were participating. After that, the next item was Maihar Band, conducted by Alauddin Sir and Baba. And in that, Ali Akbar, Ravi Shankar, Timir Varan, Vijay Jog, all of them were participating. Like a Tagorian system of presenting. Tagore, obviously now I know, that was a very staunch follower of classical style technique. So there was a blue little railing, and Baba was turning back, was about to start the conducting, the whole conduct, the Maihar Band. But the screen wouldn't open. There were no automatic screen there. So Mr. Keshto took me, right, a hold, didn't leave me. So he went in the center of the stage, and then he had to pull it the whole up and to open the stage, and forgot about me. And my hair band started. I believe I did a namaskar and went on performing rubbish maybe. Whatever I saw, they were practicing for almost half an hour. And at that time, from this wing, my father saying, "I'll hit you, come out. Everybody saying, I'll give you a chocolate, I will give you Rajans, come out. No, I wouldn't come out. After the whole show was, his band was over, I did a namaskar and waited till the screen came back. And Mrs. Tagore was so furious with my mother. Why did you bring this brat? Why do you people go on producing and bring such idiots? I ruined my 3 months. And the next day, those days the headlines and the first front page photograph was very, very important. We didn't have this televisions and all that. So the next day, the front page headline was that Mrs. Tagore trains a 2.5-year-old child who stole the show. And my photograph. That is the beginning of my career. Thereafter, no looking back. But I was obviously, must be a rubbish. I went on doing performing, and after some time, Alauddin called my father and said, "Doctor, please see, when your child is 10 years old, she should not dance." Because the professors didn't believe that girls should dance. It is Tagore who brought this new trend where people from all the families can come and dance. And that is why he avoided Dasiyattam altogether. Now when my father called me. I am telling this because there was a reason. My father called me and said, "Beta, you have to stop. This is not our job. Our job is to study hard and give Vidyadan." I said, "Baba, but I don't want to give up. I want to dance." I want to sing, I want to do that. He said that, okay. And my mother said, please don't tease her. She's doing her own studies. She's quite good. Why? Because they'd say, I never stood second. So all my school, in my graduation, everything I was first class first. And that's how he didn't tell me to give up. But let me tell you, I'm not a theatre person. I'm supposed to be a non-theatre person. When I started singing under the greatest of name, Siddheshwari Devi, people said, oh, she's a dancer. Now when I started training in National School of Drama, because Mr. Abraham called me, he said, oh, she even now, she's nothing to do with theatre. She's a singer. It's great. I'm happy that I'm not a theatre person because I don't want to be. That's the most difficult thing. इसलिए मैंने कहा वो इश्क नहीं आसान. बस इतना समझ लीजिए कि ये आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. इतना आसान नहीं. ये पैशन इतना आसान नहीं है. आपको सुनाई पड़ रही है कि नहीं? आपको नहीं सुनाई पड़ रही है? पड़ रही है. ये कह रही थी कि रसस्वादन, इसमें दो पार्टी है, परफॉर्मर है एंड द रसिका है. रसिका, if he receives the ras good enough, if he doesn't, it's very sad. You can't do a thing.
ডিসকানেক্ট হয়ে গেছিল, আমি আবার রিকানেক্ট করে দিয়েছি. এখন লাইভ আছে আবার.
क्या हो रहा है?
नहीं ठीक
चल रहा है.
हाँ चल रहा है.
तो यहाँ मत बोलिए भैया, इतनी जोर से बोलेंगे तुम कैसे बात करेंगे? कमाल हो गई भाई. बहरहाल अब देखिए, I will explain this rasa theory. Rasa is not important. What is important? 8 sthai bhavas. They are Shringar, Hasya, Rodra, Karuna, and then Bhayanak, Jugupsa, and then Veer, and Adbhut. Originally there were only 8 sthai bhavas. It is the sthai bhav that concerns us, the theatre people. The rasa is accidental.
फ्लक्चुएट करेगा साइक्लोन की वजह से.
पहले बोल रही हूँ, जैसे नेचर ने जबरदस्त परफॉर्म किया डे बिफोर यस्टरडे, जिसको कहते हैं भयानक, और उसके लिए जो भयानक का तो रसस्वादन वही होना चाहिए था, लेकिन रसस्वादन भयानक का भयानक नहीं हुआ. जो हुआ वो वीभत्स हुआ. I can't tell you. So I'm glad that I can talk to you people. This is a lifetime experience. So जो भी आप, कोई भी आप में से कोई हेकड़ी करता है, हम ये कर लेंगे वो सब रविश. नेचर के सामने हम सब मजबूर हैं. वो जो हमने तांडव देखा यहाँ पे कि हम बता नहीं सकते. बहरहाल ये इसकी रस थ्योरी को समझने के लिए सीधी तरह करके एक दे रहे. देखिए, फर्ज करी कोरमा बना रहे. नहीं, बहुत लोग वेजिटेरियन है, कोरमा नहीं बोलेंगे. आप फर्ज करी गोभी की सब्जी बनाते, तो उसमें क्या है? सब्जी किसकी है? तरी वाला गोभी. हमने अपने ये मम्मी बहुत अच्छा खाना पकाती है, ठीक है. गोभी है, अव्वल तो किस में पकेगा? तवे में तो पकेगा नहीं. या किस में पकेगा? एक डेगची चाहिए, नहीं तो डीप एक कढ़ाई चाहिए. यानी पात्र बहुत जरूरी है. थिएटर में कहा जाता है उस पात्र में फला एक्टर काम कर रहा है. वो पात्र होना जरूरी है जहाँ ये गोभी पकेगा, जहाँ से आप ये रसस्वादन करेंगे, ये गोभी की सब्जी खाएंगे. अब बात है उसको, उसमें क्या 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 पड़ेगा? इलायची, लौंग, दालचीनी, हल्दी, जीरा, नमक, मिर्च, अदरक, लहसुन, प्याज, मे भी टमाटर या दही, कुछ तो पड़ेगा. टमाटर दही अलग बात, आप खा लेंगे, लेकिन इसमें से कोई भी अलग नहीं खा रहे एज ए मील. सब मिलता है, पकता है. इतनी चीजें देने के बाद जो पका वो बना अदरक का शोरबा नहीं, ये लहसुन का शोरबा नहीं, बना गोभी की सब्जी. So that is the whole Thai bhav is made with the Sanchari bhavas, so many other ingredients. Now all the 8 Thai bhavas has a detailed instruction in Natya Shastra, believed to be 400 BC, the second ceremony. Earlier there were 36 shlokas and he brought it down to 6,000 shlokas. And later on, 11th century AD, again, Gupta made another version and the detail of Natya Shastra was reinterpreted. The thing is, that is when it's served. Suppose you have served a gobi ka rasa. सब लोग बैठे हैं दोस्तों खाने के लिए, फला की मम्मी बनाई है खाना, उसमें मिर्ची बहुत पड़ गया, आपने एक लिया रख दिया. क्या बोली? असल में मैं आंटी मैं खाना खा के आया हूँ, ये तो जबरदस्ती हमको लेके आए, मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं खा सकती. खाएगा कैसे? तो मर जाएगा, इतना खा लेगा. इतनी with the detail given. It is just a computer, Natya Shastra. It is a treatise on classical theatre. Again, let me tell you, it has nothing to do with Sanskrit. And many Vidwans call it Sanskrit theatre, just to make it more difficult. No, even Kalidas's Shakuntalam, अभी अब हम आपको समझा रहे हैं कि ये जो स्थायी भाव है, 8 स्थायी भाव, each one of them have 33 संचारी भाव. वो एक भाव परमानेंटली नहीं रह सकता है, वो सिर्फ पागल या साधक ही रह सकता है एक भाव में. कोई इंसान होगा तो वो एक मूड में नहीं रहता है. अगर आप इश्क में पड़ गए तो पहली बात तो डर होता है, अरे बाबा हमें तो अच्छी लग रही है, उससे मैं अच्छा लग रहा हूँ कि नहीं, अरे बाबा उसकी कोई और बॉयफ्रेंड तो नहीं है, ये चलता रहता है. एंगर इस तरह से 33 संचारी भाव होने से वो श्रृंगार एस्टैब्लिश होगा. लेकिन उसका रस वही होगा, कोई जरूरी नहीं. श्रृंगार का रस है रति, but it may not be, because a very old man expressing with great sincerity with all the sanchari bhavas love for a very young maiden. So what is the ras? Ras is hasya ras, not rati. So one has to understand rasa is all incidental, but any performance should eventually give you money. And nothing has happened. The whole activity did not start at 6:30. And it is called, I'll give you another example, what I mean when I said that Anandam. When I started National School of Drama, it used to be in Rabindra Bhavan. There, she was a very beautiful girl, sat in front of the gate with some fruit, with a little child next to her sitting. And this I've seen about 3-4 years continuously selling fruits, and I have bought so many times. Then we shifted to Bhavalpur house. The boy became grown up and he started going to the school, and we all loved him. Babu naam tha uska. One day I go back from my midterm recession. I went there and I saw a huge crowd. I said, kya hua? Then I see the lady, the Pushpa, is weeping, and the dead body full of blood, that little Babu in her lap. I said, Didi, ye dekhiye kya hua? Obviously he was hit by a bus and he finished on the spot. Now, what happens similarly, So I was so upset. We were all upset. For 3-4 days, we couldn't eat, we couldn't sleep. The pain and the horror of that incident. Much after that, I saw a play by one of her best product, Uttara Bhavkar. She was the mother in the Riders to the Sea, if you know the story. And where all the 6 sons and husbands die in the sea to fetch money for themselves. The only person who was the last boy goes after a lot of discussion to fend for in the sea, and his dead body comes. And Uttara gives a soliloquy. I can't tell you, but it was a brilliant backstage and said it was beautiful. It's the same situation. In the play, she performed. It was a Maya, illusion, surrealism. So theatre सच नहीं है, सच बोलने की कोशिश भी मत करिए। क्यों आप करेंगे इतना सेट वेट बना के? क्लासिकल थिएटर में कोई सेट होता ही नहीं। आप इमेजिन करिए या बॉडी से बना लीजिए, कितना मॉडर्न है वो, कितना। I mean, classical theatre, in that it is a technique in which you can do a Shakespeare's play, you can do a Molière, you can do a Kabuki, you can do any Adhe Adure or any play. The thing is that it is a technique where the head to toe is given, how to train yourself. If it is an actor, head to toe, you practice. Your body has to be chust. And that is very important. You must maintain yourself. There has to be a kind of discipline which you should maintain. Every human being has a different way of having their discipline, but that discipline has to work out. My father, I still remember, said that it is a job of professional people who can carry forward this. I did not agree. But when one of the most brilliant students that National School of Drama has produced is Ranjit Kapoor. He came from a background of a professional theatre family. His father ran a Parsi theatre company. He was not good, he was brilliant. And when he was let me tell you, when Al-Qazi came, it is he who brought me. He said, no, this is not enough what we are doing. We have to go back to our roots, and I want to recreate classical theatre. It was his pagalpan that I was sent to a Shastriji to study Sanskrit and then study Natya Shastra in Sanskrit, not a translation. The translation done by a person who has not understood the whole game will not be able to translate. And then Devma was sent all over the country to get the drawings of various theatre. I was then thereafter sent all over the country to see the traditional theatre training of their actors. Why did he choose me? Because I was a trained Kathakali dancer. Actually, Kathakali is not dance. It has wrongly been categorized as dance. It is the only mime theatre in the world. There isn't any other mime theatre. We have this rich tradition of mime. 108 Puranic stories, not Ramayana or Mahabharata. It is not Krishna's life or Rama's life. It is other than, and so that when that classical mime, which is found in, it is a different hastas, not the dancer's hastas. So no point in learning Bharatanatyam to do the hastakas. The Hastaka is different. It's from Hastalakshan Dvipika, which I teach all my students who have learned from. There cannot be any rasa. So don't depend on rasa. You understand the sthai bhav. That is to learn about classical theatre. Nothing to judge. आप राजा तो ही, अब आपको कौन क्या सिखा सकता है? आप तो राजा बन गए. और हमारे पास पहले पीरियड में आना पड़ता था और I realized they have to take off their shirt. That was a horrifying. इतने शर्माते हैं तो थिएटर कैसे करेंगे? Because your body is the जिसको आप ठीक रखना है. हाँ. तो फिर क्या होता था, वो बाहर खड़े रहते थे क्योंकि वो अंदर नहीं आ पाते थे. क्योंकि अगर आप डिसिप्लिन में नहीं है, आप देखिए जो पात्र खाली है, एक गिलास खाली है, उसी में तो दोबारा चाय भर सकेंगे, पानी भर सकेंगे, शराब भर सकेंगे या जूस भर सकेंगे. जो ऑलरेडी भरा हुआ है उसमें क्या भरेंगे? So you have to learn how to become neutral. Your body should be having no mannerism. An ideal actor is such who has a neutral appearance, neutral facial expression, neutral gait walk. It's not that वो लड़का बड़ा ऐड के हिल के चल रहा, he will suit such and such role. That's not a qualification. You should be absolutely learn how to be neutral. That is why there are many misgivings, and great Vidwans of our classical theatre teacher today tells Angik, Vachik, Sattvic and Aharya. Aharya is part of makeup and costume. Not at all. Aharya is not part of costume and makeup. It is wearing the character. It's not, Angik does not mean only body. Aharya, after going through all that, finally you wear the character. I'll tell you an example, what I mean. When I was learning under Martha Graham in New York, I was maybe the first black to learn from her, and I had the privilege of presenting her after long time, after 10 years of her retirement, again on the stage. When I was in New York learning from Martha Graham, that's when Ibrahim Al-Qazi spotted me. And he asked me, when do I come back? Do I come back at all? I was very upset with him. So I said, please get lost because I have no time. I have to prepare Martha for the next show. It's the 2 shows for that lady. It's very tough. Of course, Jocasta is only in the first scene and she was so brilliant. Everybody came to see her. So I took it for granted. She said that, can I talk to the director? I don't want to. I said, yes. After a long time he said, my goodness, can I meet the director? I said, yes, tell me. But what language you are speaking? I said, whatever language you are speaking. I think you are an Indian, I am also an Indian. You speak a little bit of English, I also speak the same kind. Yes, I am the director. He couldn't believe his eyes. He looked at me top to bottom and then he said, okay. Then he left. Then he spotted me again when I became a student of Siddheshwari Devi, and Amma was very keen. The Hamar Bacho Abhi दिया एक स्कॉलरशिप हो थी वो तू भी ले हमार बच्चन भी स्कॉलरशिप ली है. So I went again and he saw me again because the last round of the national scholarship was in front of the theatre people, dance, scientific research and all that. He saw me and he came to my house where I stayed. I said that I want you to come and join National School of Drama. I said, are you mad? I'm learning under Shwari Devi. one of the top singer of the country. I'm very lucky. I'm the only Gandhavan Chagid Award, even now. I mean, I'm the only one whom she has taught. And says, no, I don't want you to come every day. Just come thrice a day. I'll give you a job and a full-time job. Well, whenever you can't come, I'll take your classes. But I want you to come and join. So myself, Nibha Joshi, joined because Alkaji said that I'm not interested in what you teach to my students. I want to learn. He was that kind of magnanimous person. It's because of him that I came back to theatre, because I didn't want to lose. I learned so much from Ashan. Ashan Kunjukurup, the name Ashan Kunjukurup and is synonymous with Kathakali. At that time he was the last word. Because he insisted, if you don't allow this Penkutti to perform with me, or she has learned from me, if you don't allow her the professional stage, then I retire. So there was a big hullabaloo, whole of Kerala, Matribhumi and all that, gave my photograph and all that. And that's how I started performing with her. Of course, I had to take the Beshem in the bullock cart, while all the other boys, all the other men cast. Naturally, I was the only, happened to be a woman. So my chotti had to be on a bullock cart. And that is how I learned. Later on, I went to learn the southern style both. So I went to Chandu Padikar. There, when I was learning, I was spotted by Rukmani Devi. Rukmani Devi's Kalakshetra is one of the greatest institutions of Bharatanatyam. She told me, she saw my performance on stage, which Chandu Padikar was presenting. My dance partner was the known dancer now. And he said, Miss Rukmani said, you must learn Bharatanatyam. I said, no, I don't have time. I will not be able to stay in Kalakshetra because they're totally vegetarian. And I like to do anything. I cannot have vegetarian food. And that is how I stayed out. But she saw to it that I went through the Arangyatram. Many of you do not know the costume that you see, the organized of Bharatanatyam is the total gift of Rukmani Arandar. This costume was not there. The costume was just a pajama and a small dhavani. Of course, the small dhavanis were also made by the Kalakshetra. Till then, a sari is made into half, and that is how I have seen Bala Saraswati perform year after year in winter season in Chennai. It is her gift. And this set that Alaripu, then after that Jatiswaram and Tillana and all these, the pattern and the padam is Arundel's gift. When I was going to USA, she said, you must join. I'm writing a letter to you and you take this to Martha and she will teach. I don't want you to get out of touch. That's how I reached Martha Graham. And that's how I reached the theatre world. So when I came in, I had the knowledge of Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Manipuri under Amubi Singh, the great Amubi Singh, and also I had the experience of Kathakali. I joined Ibrahim Al-Qazi, he who encouraged me to create a course called Movement and Mind. Initially when I joined, there were a lot of opposition for him in the staff. None of them wanted him to come back, come at all, join at all. They thought that he was Angreziyat, and there was nothing Angreziyat in Ibrahim Al-Qazi. He was an excellent teacher, and he trained so beautifully. It was a joy to see when he took one production in a year, where the seniors would get the main roles, the second year would do small roles, and the beginners would just sit there and watch. That is how the entire pattern was. 24 hours involvement with theatre. Then only you can do such work. Otherwise it's not possible. And now going back, Dev Matra came back. He started teaching us the various areas. Indu Babu came for makeup, and it was a grand teaching staff. And none of them came from theatre background. They were from other background. But they knew the work they have to put in. That is why such rich curriculum you have with the National School of Drama. But it is he, Ibrahim Al-Qazi, who first started an effort to make a classical theatre. I, being follower of classical art form, I believe calling my guru a guru. So he is my theatre guru. It is from there I learned how to express and open the new horizon of performing art. Actually, any institution is supposed to tell you what has already happened. The students who come, each one of them have right to learn everything that is taught during a production. Then let them themselves do whatever role they wish to do, and let the other students themselves select who is good and who is not. That is what I believe, and that is how I practiced. It doesn't matter whether I'm popular with them or not. Popularity is not the aim. The aim is to teach them the discipline, the body discipline. Then also for the direction, to understand the vritti, 4 vrittis. Everything cannot be kashik vritti that you put in everybody dancing and singing in everything. In Mudra Rakshas there cannot be. It's a very serious work where Chanakya's life. So like that, if you understand what you're doing, then you learn how to express from classical theatre technique. It is I who introduced, for the first time at least in urban Indian theatre, a production around great painters' work. Anupam Kher and all these, that batch, did very, very beautiful improvisation and presentation around the painting. Ashish Vidyath, his batch, did Grunik in Chastrak. That is why a theatre person has to be master of all. Jack of all and master of all. They must go and see the painting exhibition. They must understand what is Vastu Shastra. Then only you understand where to block your other on stage. You see a scenario of on a temple wall. You can see the main deity in front, and then you think far back, the Nandi, Bringi and all these people are following the procession. How do you do that? It is the plain surface that you create this technique by creating distance and giving a 3-dimensional quality. Even that one has to learn from them. It's important. So when I did the interpretation of poetry, include the poetry in a play, and through the poems you do a play. So you do a play with poems, you do a play with painting. It's a new area. Your body is totally prepared. Your body has to be totally prepared, and also you have to learn it, not only the body, your emotions. I must say that I had the advantage of understanding painting right from childhood. My father in Lucknow had many great friends. One of them was Oshit Haldar. He was the principal of Lucknow Art College. Those days Lucknow was the seat of culture. And he used to come to our house regularly. And I understood many things. What is the Tibetan Bhagwa, what is the Hindu Bhagwa, what is the Chai-Wai Bhagwa, all that I've heard them speak a lot about the interpretation of various colors used in the costume. Because they are the people who discovered Ajanta Ellora for the first time for the rest of the world. Oshit Haldar and Nandalal Bose. Anyhow, one day I was learning from Ustadji, classical Hindustani teacher. He was teaching us Shri. Every time he sang in beautiful voice, Gwalior Gharana, it was so good. Every time he would sing before he starts teaching us, I would feel, sleepy. I was very, very funny feeling. It was so beautiful. So one day, like a fool, I asked Ustadji, what is the color of this rag? He looked at me and got very angry. His face became red. Just learn what I'm teaching. I kept quiet. Then when the class was over and he was going out, all the other students were out, he called me. Actually, I was his favorite student. That's why I asked him that. He called me, says, "Uska rang Bhagwa hai." कौन सा भगवा? तिब्बतन भगवा, शैवाइट भगवा या वैष्णवाइट भगवा? He was furious. तुमने कभी सूरज को डूबते देखा है? वो वाला भगवा है. जाओ. He was very upset. So then I realized, those days Shanti Niketan had the red, as it is Birbhum, the color of the earth is red. And there used to be a pond, Lal Bagh. There were no trees, no plantation project was taken then. So there used to be a pond, and the Suraj sunset time, every day that reflection on that water was amazing. Amazing evenings, evening after evening, I used to go there. And that's how I became friendly with Ram Kinkar Badge. Just behind that there was a little hillock. On that there was a black house of Shanko Chaudhary, where Ram Kinkar used to stay. And he had beautiful voice. He would sing loud, and the whole place would echo. So that's how we became friendly. I said, "You sing so well." He says, "Okay, I'll sing for you again." He's a very grand person. Now, while I used to go there, every day there used to be an old man carrying an easel, wearing a banyan with lots of holes in it, with a lungi of black and blue, with the checked lungi. He would come, put his easel, and start painting. So I became his friend. "Hello, how are you? What are you watching?" I said, "I'm just watching the Bhagwa." "What are you doing?" They said, "I'm just trying to paint." I said, "Okay, let me see what you're painting." "Oh no, I don't think so you're catching the Bhagwan, right? You should learn a little more." then you will understand how to do the Bhagwan. You better do human being. So we became great friends. Then he said that, what are you doing here? I said, why? I learned music. Under whom, which is true, the greatest person, name of Rabindra Sangeet is Konika Bandyopadhyay, Mohurdi. I was her first disciple. So I said that I am learning from Konika Bandyopadhyay. But oh, really? So sing. Let me honestly tell you, I did not by then learn not even a whole song. But my sister was a Lata Mangeshkar of Bengal, Rita Ganguly. She sang so well. So I did hear her sing some Bengali Rabindra Sangeet. I picked up the first two lines and I sang for him. And other things I concocted myself. The antara, the 2 or 3 antaras. Then he looked at me and said that, you have a nice voice. You're singing all right, but I don't think so. Lyric is quite correct. But I'm trying to overwrite Tagore with his own first 2 lines. He said, you learn. Once you sing a proper Rabindra Sangeet, I'll give you a card. I said, okay, I'll learn, but anyhow, I don't much care for your card. Anyhow, so I did learn. I became very serious thereafter to learn Rabindra Sangeet. It's because that old man who encouraged me to learn a whole song, Rabindra Sangeet. I came back and I sang for him. He was so happy. He gave me a little small painting of his. I said, that's better. This human being, this you can do better. Like that, we became great friends. And for almost 1 whole month, he gave me lots of little cards and sometimes slightly bigger painting. And I would take them back. I had a single room, so I would put them, place them as a showcase on my table. One day I was called by the warden of the school, of the hostel. He called me and said, for a long time she went on saying, I come from such big family, well-known family, my sisters are so and so and so and so. She expected much better behavior from us. I couldn't understand what is she saying all these things, what for? I said, what's the problem? He said, we're very sad to inform that we have seen some photographs that you have stolen from Nandun. Nandun means a collection of Nandalal Bose. I said, on my desk, how can it be? Of course not. I don't have a single Nandalal Bose's painting. How can I pick it up? It's so difficult. It's under huge security. Then my principal, Shailaja Ranjan Majumdar and Shantidev Ghosh, they were called. So I was told that it's very bad, what do we do? So I was taken, said, okay, we'll go to Mastoshai. So we walked. Those days we would walk miles together. And we walked there and we saw a beautiful house with round glass fencing. And we sat there and then we came to know Master Bashai is having a bath. We just need to wait for 2-3 minutes. And then arrives the great Nandalal Bose, the internationally known Nandalal Bose. One and only Nandalal Bose comes. My goodness, it's the same old man whom I used to meet every evening. I said, I got so angry. I felt so insulted, as though I have been cheated. Nothing, poor fellow, he didn't do a thing. I said, you would cheat? You are Nandalal Bose? My goodness, you can't draw a line properly and you have got so much of name. You are Master Bashai. What rubbish. So he started laughing and said, Shailaja, amar buড়ো বয়সের রোমান্সটা দিলে নষ্ট করে, you ruined my old age romance. What is this? Yes, those paintings I have given her. So that is some of the most beautiful, cherished moments I've had. Now, being with Nandalal Bose, being with Ram Kinkar Bed, being with later in life, Swaminathan, Akbar Padamsee, all of them, I loved painting. I can't draw for nuts. And Ramachandran was a Malayalam gentleman, a grand painter, but he was kind enough to sing for me in Malayalam. He was the only, and he had a beautiful voice. So my teacher requested him, please sing for Rita. We cannot, in either Shankani or Nani, we getting nobody to sing for her. And she had a show in somewhere, I don't know where we went, Kathia or somewhere, to perform. So I was fortunate enough that I danced while Ramachandran sang for me. This is my background of the painters and their work to understand. I'm still trying to understand what is painting. So the painting is an important ingredient for an actor to understand. To understand music is important. You are required to sing. If you are not required to sing, then you are required to understand the pitch. That if a person is giving a dialogue in certain pitch, and if you are a superior character in that particular scene, then you pitch it a little higher. How can you do that unless you understand the music? It's important. The second thing, most commonly asked question to me, is why do you teach us mudras? Hastapatako, mudrakya, katako, everybody knows. They all hate me for that, but one thing all the National School of Drama students can do is the 24 hastakas. Biggest problem with an actor is what to do with the hands. Most of the youngsters who come as a theatre trainee, getting onto the stage and just think dialogue, that is theatre. That's not true. There's a Satvik Abhinay in my productions. For past 3 years, the people who are getting the maximum mark, they don't have dialogues. They've understood. I've taken special care and pain to train them to do the Satvik Abhinay. Note, if any of you have seen my Karnataka, in that most outstanding actor was the horse. He didn't have any dialogue whatsoever. He didn't have normal human ear to do this throughout the play. But every time he came on the stage, he got applause. Because he understood, he had the capacity to learn the Satvik Abhinay. And that is what is required. The Satvik Abhinay must also have accompanied by the last. That means Angik Vachik Satvik Ahari Abhinay. It is not costume. Not at all. It will go as a stagecraft. In the Satvik Abhinay, accompanied by Ahari Abhinay, becomes the real thing. What is Ahari Abhinay? I understood even more when I was in America, and once there was a big Shakespearean play festival. I saw a whole lot of plays there, and especially Sir Laurence Olivier in his total Shakespearean attire, in the totally that style he performed the Shakespearean play. The next day was the Richard Burton. He came with an ordinary trouser and a shirt to do Hamlet. It was equally convincing because he wore the character of Hamlet, not just the costume. The costume, makeup, of course, is an important thing, but you really don't require it. What you need is to be normal and get into the body of the required character, the basic characteristics of a person, that character that you are going to portray has to be worn. Then only you can do the ahari abhinay. Just giving you enough costume does not help at all. There's nothing to do with it. I saw it myself. Sir Richard Button didn't have the Shakespearean attire at all. He didn't even have a sword. But it was absolutely brilliant. I can see a whole lot of people asking some question. I'm sorry. While I talk, I don't like to answer anything. If you want to get an answer, then maybe I should request Jaidev to give me those questions on time. If I know it, I'll answer. And then, can you read for me what is the first?
This one is your niece.
Yeah.
Rita Ganguly. The 3 days extensive conference with the wives of India was the one of its kind. Mashi, your thought process is totally different and fresh.
Huh?
Mashi, your thought process is totally different and fresh.
Then? Okay.
Proud to be your niece.
That's true. That's true. I did the pioneering job of professional singing women because I was trained under both two persons. The Siddheshwari Devi was the wife, and while I was learning from her, I understood the delicacy of the wife. They have been unnecessarily sandwiched with the flesh traders. You see, Nagar Vadhu and Ganika is different. Vadhu means the Dulhan. So, पूरे नगर की दुल्हन, आप दुल्हन को देखते हैं, पार्टी में जाते हैं, that dulhan is not your area of desire. You appreciate that dulhan. You bless the couple. You bless the newly married girl. That is the position they got. Those days, all the women who performed, they longed to become the wife. In fact, Begum Akhtar wasn't the wife family at all. They had nothing to do with singing and dancing. Her mother was prepared to give ₹1,00,000 then to include her in the wife category, because that was Baiji. I used to call my own Baiji. It's a very respectable answer. So the wife is a thing that I've understood, and I understood how to look at your area of work in a different way altogether, and how it should be treated. What is the other question?
Question. All are proud of you. Feeling so lucky to listen to you. I am completely lost in this session. Vijay Shukla. Ma'am pranam, ma'am.
Okay. So, if you have some questions, you can ask now, because my thought process getting interrupted every 5 minutes. This Vodafone and Airtel, all rubbish. अरे भाई हम बात कर रहे हैं, आप सुन रहे हो, बात खत्म. उसके लिए ये सब क्या? लेकिन you can't help. ये क्या आ रहा है? और
That's last में आपका प्रणाम मैम आया. If you can sing something, learn from Begum Akhtar ji.
No, I'm sorry. This is not music session at all.
Jaidev asking. Is Jaidev asking this question?
I've already sung. Obviously, you're marked absent, Jaidev, because I started with singing. Sorry, you will not be allowed in my class anymore. So anyhow, it's over. Thank you very much to Coconut Theatre and all the other people who are associated with Coconut Theatre. And I have this little boy with me who is helping me, Dikshit. Your name is Dikshit.
Shayan Rakshit. Shayan Rakshit.
Shayan Rakshit. He has been here throughout and he's quite intrigued and he's quite bored because every 5 minutes he has to do something with the connection going. You see, I'm very lucky, at least I have the light and water.
Yes.
Just this house and another house, that's all. All the other houses in this line and all the other houses on that side, I have no light, no water, no connection. Huge trees fell and I saw the taandav of the nature, which was bhayankar. Bhaya was the whole thing. It was horrible. It was horrible, that experience. Anyhow, good that I'm still alive to see such, go through such experience. I think, in spite of getting prejudiced, if you look at and try and understand the technique of classical theatre, you can do it much lesser cost. There is no set. You don't have to go for cooking, having a gas and a chula and a kettle and all the... it's all rubbish. Why should you have that? Nothing is real, we understand that. Nothing has happened at 6:30. You have to create the illusion, the maya, to create that ambience. Then only you face the challenge of being a good actor. सीधी बात है, एक्टर नहीं है तो थिएटर नहीं है. एक एक्टर है, फर्ज करिए if there is a brilliant script, a grand light person who makes the light. Suppose a grand costume designer and a grand stage designer, all together, no actor, no play. But an actor, well-trained actor, without any of these things, can create theatre on stage. There has to be just a place and another person listening to you. Theatre is done.
मेघना कोठारी आपकी बेटी है, बोल रहे सिंग अ सॉन्ग.
कौन बोल रहा है?
मेघना कोठारी, गर्जन थी जलाधार, योर प्ले.
अरे, it's from my play. Meghna, what is this? Gajanti Jaladham Gayanti Shikinam Nrityanti Brahma Ram Rame Prave Shike. After 1.5 hours, you can't sing.
Yes.
This is the opening Praveshiki of classical theatre, where Shakuntal enters. All the characters who are well-known characters needs to be presented separately, because in the play it may not be the same. Like in my play, in what Katha? Karna Gatha. Karna is shown in different way. Not his most वीरत्व के साथ नहीं है उस play में. That is why there is a curtain look, where he is given a curtain look, and you present, this is the characteristics. But in this play, this is how he is presented. It's a beautiful character, Karna. It is an absolutely marvelous character. It was very difficult to play. And I must say, my students did a grand job. If they can maintain that discipline, they'll be able to make it. I don't believe that you have talented. No talent, what rubbish. You can develop your voice with correct practice. You can develop your personality with hard work and physical exercise given in Natya Shastra. You can organize your eyes if you practice every day. and you will not wear a spectacles. I don't wear a spectacle. I can read, but I don't like my, because these are the exercises given by a eye specialist when you start getting problem with your eyes, looking side to side, corner to corner, up and down, all that. Every part of your face, every area of your face should be under control.